So here's my big one. We've got the water line into the barn and a frost-free hydrant. So this is running about not quite 200 feet, but right around there from the house. So that gets me closer right outside the barn here. I'm standing in the barn door. So you can see I'm right there. I do still use the water jugs, the gallon milk water jugs. I fill them up at the spigot and bring them in because it's a better, easier, cleaner, less sloppy way to get the water into the water cups. But this is really great because now I've got the water right here for feeding. No big deal, especially like it's 87 today. It was 87 yesterday. We are going to moderate a little bit. Rabbits are dealing okay. They are a little warm. But, you know, especially times of year like this when maybe I need water a few different times a day, it's right there. That's really convenient. But also the big one is that now I have a water source to spray out my dropping trays when I clean, which I really like to do. Keeps the urine down, you know, kind of cuts down on any potential pathogens that are in there. And the big one for me is that it does a better job of keeping the flies under control. You know, I dump these trays out at least once a week. Lately, I've been doing kind of 2 times a week. Part of that is because I actually need a lot for the garden because, you know, we really dug this place out of the woods. This was all woods up until last December. So I'm starting fresh and it's slow going. It's a bit of a struggle because I can't really till it because there are too many roots and things like that in there that would just be murder on the tiller. So trying to use as much as I can from the Rabbitry to mulch, to fertilize, and over the period of the summer and next winter and ongoing to really build up that soil. The soil is not nearly as deep or as thick as what I had down in Massachusetts. That was an old farmyard, so I had like feet of decades old, 100-year-old loam there. It was really awesome soil. I was spoiled starting from scratch here. So kind of a combination of some no-till stuff, partial till. We did disc it up, but especially this year and probably into next will be real establishment and building years. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, cleaning a couple times in this weather does even more to get that fly control down and gives me more that can go straight on the garden. So that's all good stuff. So those are the big like structural updates. The water, I know it seems simple, but it's not. It's a big deal. We were able to get that down deeper than we thought we might. We got 4 feet or more. In most places, there were like 2 places where the ledge came up too high. Chipped it down as much as we could, but only got, I think, around 3.5 feet. But we put some foam insulation wafer board over those areas, and it should be good. We've talked to others in the area. Everyone thinks this is going to work and remain frost-free and hopefully open all winter long. If it happens that it doesn't, we'll have to shut it off and drain it, and it will be seasonal. But even if it's seasonal, it will be seasonal for most of the year, about probably 3/4 of the year. But we don't expect that. We expect that it will work as intended. Also because we get more snow here than Massachusetts was getting these days, and that actually helps a lot keeping the frost not quite so far down. So where we might think we live in that much of a colder climate, which is true, we did find when we were digging around with the excavator last winter that our frost was actually more shallow than in Massachusetts. So that's that. Like I said, otherwise, I thought we'd take a look at some of these kits because I thought this could be a neat comparison just to kind of see the difference between some of the breeds as real youngsters. So let's pop over and take a look at that. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Daphne's Rex litter and Rose's Champagne litter. Now, you can see these guys kind of side by side. This litter is only 2 weeks old. I did take the nest box out because this weekend I cleaned it. You know, they were all coming out, and I cleaned out the nest box and I refilled it with shavings and gave it back to them, and nobody's been using it ever since. It is plenty warm outside. everyone's comfortable in choosing to be out of it, so the heck with it. We will just let them have the airflow and gather as they will instead. And then just beyond them, those are the Rex. So like I said, first litter of Rex, my first experiment with Rex rabbits. I took just one of them out the other day, popped it on the scale, and they are 4 weeks old, and it was a little over a pound. The champagnes are 2 weeks old. You know, yes, that's the sound of wasted pellets, because you always have to have one, right? So yes, so the champagnes, these guys are 2 weeks old. I popped one of them on the scale, and that came in at 13 ounces. So yes, we have a size difference, which is good because we also have 2 weeks of age difference here. But for the age difference, those are pretty close weights. So I didn't weigh the whole litter. I probably will do that over the next week or two just so I can start seeing an arc and a growth curve with them. I do have, and I started to bring it out of the house and then I left it in the house. I do have a weight chart. I cannot remember off the top of my head who put this out, but it was specifically Rex rabbits only. And it was measurements that they took following their Rex, several litters of Rex, and got the averages. So good, pretty good information there, I think. You know, and that rabbit, it did seem to be that those are on an acceptable curve for Rex. It's just I'm coming from the standpoint of my New Zealand's, Californians, champagnes, and crosses thereof, and that is a much slower growth rate than I usually get. We've talked about this before. Daphne, she's not as heavy as I'd like her to be. Her pedigree that came with her says she was 10 pounds, over 10 pounds as an adult. I've never seen this out of her. Am supplementing her with some sunflower seed because nursing these 9 kits is taking it off her body. And so that is helping to kind of bring her back up. You know, that's a lot to ask of any doe. Rose actually tends to be the same way. She tends to lose some weight when through labor and nursing, and then sometimes I'll have to give her a little bit of a break or supplement her a little bit too to bring her back up to her typical condition. But let me pull a couple of these out of here and we'll look at just a random sampling side by side. Not entirely the most scientific experiment, but might give us an idea of what different breeds look like, even though these are all considered a medium meat rabbit breed, what they look like side by side and the differences you can see there. So here I pulled out a couple, just grabbed 2 of them that came from the forefront, and I'm gonna try and do this with not enough hands. Got one climbing up. Let's see here, hold on. So this is one of the Rex kits. It's weighing in right at like 1 pound, 4 ounces. These Rex were born, well, they were 4 weeks old on June 5th. Today's June 10th. So these are like 4.5 weeks old. The champagne litter, got one right here. These guys were 2 weeks on Saturday the 6th. So they're about 2.5 weeks old. We have just about 2 weeks age difference between these kits. And you can see, you know, they're obviously the champagne is smaller, which it should be. But side by side, you know, for 2 weeks in age difference, that's not that significant of a difference. The Rex, I will say this, I will give them this. They're nice. They've been hardy so far. They are kind of a precocious little group. I've said that in videos before where they were really active and popping out, and you know, they've shown good energy the whole time. So I'll give them that, and we'll see if, even though this is this is a lot to manage with a camera and 2 bunnies, but we'll see how that growth curve evens out. I do want to try and get a real weight on this champagne to show you guys. just zero that back out. And I know the camera makes that look a little funny, the digital. So we've got like 14 ounces on this one. So a little bit shy of a pound. And we're talking about like 5 ounces difference in these two kits for two weeks of age difference there. So, you know, we'll see how that starts to even out too. These Rexes are mostly weaning themselves. They do nurse some. I've been seeing them nurse on her, but they're very into their pellets and water. You know, they're in it all the time. They're hungry. I'm filling the feed dishes, keeping plenty of feed in front of them so that there's enough for them, especially there being 9. And so there's enough for mom. Like I said, I've been working a little to keep some weight and condition on her anyway. So I don't want to not have feed in front of anybody in that nest. But that's what we've got for now. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of, conclusions to draw yet, but this is what I'm looking at over time. And obviously this is a pretty small sampling too, because we're just talking about 2 kits from 2 different litters. Time will be the real thing. As these Rex grow, I intend to select out some of the bigger ones and go from there. Maybe breed back a good sized daughter if I get one to the buck, to Luther down there, because he is actually higher than ideal weight for a Rex, which is good for me because I'm a meat breeder, not a show person. He's over 9 pounds, so that's a little more than what's considered ideal by the standard of practice for Rex. But I'd love to capture some of his larger weight with hers. Just, food for thought. Thought it was an interesting thing to share. If anybody's raised Rex, especially if you've raised them next to a larger breed. I don't know how many people are keeping Rex and Champagne next to each other, but if you've raised them next to, say, a Californian or a New Zealand, I'd be interested to hear what your results are. And also, I am full disclosure, I know that there are probably some nicer, larger Rex out there, so that's part of what I'm dealing with. But, playing around, having some fun, getting some meat on the ground, regardless, I'm going to say right out, I don't think they'll be as efficient as the Champagnes, the New Zealands, the Californians, or those crosses. But she is throwing a good size litter. They will be meat and they will be useful. And if you're into fur, you really can't beat the hides on these guys. The fur is just so neat, that Rex fur. I think that's really... anyone who's keeping them, you're probably keeping them just as much for that, I would think, as the meat, just because you are losing it on the meat end, but the trade-off is some pretty awesome pelts. So that's what I got for you today. It's a warm one. You can see these guys are a little warm. We are going to cool off and life will get a little easier for everybody from here on out. And I'm going to come sweat in the garden some more, try and hack something out of that. We'll see. We'll see how the growing year goes. I don't expect it to be like it's always been. I did get my rhubarb in over there. That actually is my husband's grandparents' rhubarb that his aunt still had at her place, and I was able to take divisions of and bring some here. So we're happy to have that, and that's really, I popped that in a few days ago. Rhubarb's funny. The roots look like nothing. They don't look like they should grow, and it's standing tall and happy. So thanks for being here. Questions, comments, anything to add, anything of interest, what's going on in your rabbitry in your life? Love to hear about it. And I will see you back here next time.